any of the times I've played this. This is Dragon is Dead. This is a side-scrolling... You could almost call it a beat-em-up roguelite, but it's more basically akin to a lot of the other action roguelites you'll have seen. Yeah, I guess you could say it's a fairly dark fantasy spin. I'm gonna quickly reboot it because I forgot to plug my controller in, and I don't think it'll have picked it up. And it doesn't take long to reboot, so there's no reason not to just quickly turn it off and on again, you know? Okay, good. OBS picked it up immediately again. Yeah, I've really enjoyed this the entire time I've been playing it, so learning that it came out in 1.0 meant I was absolutely going to find a time to put it back into rotation immediately. And especially with Next Fest coming up next week, there really wasn't going to be a great time close to when 1.0 happened to get to show this to y'all again. Okay, yeah, my controller is working. As you can see, we have a file that has played a bit. Go ahead and get loaded in. Let's see. This is one of the character classes. This is the Berserker. Right now it's set to dual blades because I have two weapons. You do actually have the capacity to switch to like a greatsword, have a completely different attack animation, and all of that good stuff. There is a full set of skill trees and everything. These are all per run skill trees to use, by the way. Everything in here is as you gain it in a singular run, not all the time. But like I said, I'm gonna step away during the ad. I'll be right back with refilled water and everything. See you in just a moment. Okay, biology-based interruption out of the way. Let's get back to business, shall we? Yeah, all of your stats you see in the stat line up here does matter. Primarily in the case of the Berserker, strength is your best advantage. Strength and vitality basically are the only two stats that super matter for this class. As you can see, all skills for Berserker do higher damage with strength. You gain armor via strength. Dexterity does help a little bit because you get evasion rate and crit chance. So depending on your build, Dexterity can work for the Berserker. Spellblade cares primarily about intelligence, as you see there with its skill damage being based on that. Magic Resist is a little nice to have in some cases, but back when I was playing before, even on Nightmare difficulty, didn't really run into too much problem with Magic Resist. All the classes get a little bit of skill damage from Vitality, and it just, of course, extends your life bar. And then you have all kinds of information in here if you really want a number crunch. You've got a lot at your fingertips there. I'm not going to go through all of that because that's a lot, but understand the option is there for you. And I already talked about the skill tree a little bit. We'll go into that more as we get it. There's also artifacts you'll pick up in a run, which do have synergies over here, and I forget what the essences are all about, but we'll get to that. In 1.0, I know they added a couple new systems, like there's a whole quenching thing that I don't know how works or any of that yet. But every time you end a run, you end up back here, and you can either go into this area over on this side here, which is where you can make new gear. Still weird that you go in from the left and come out on the right. This is your stash, by the way. As you can see, I've got a bunch of legendary stuff just kind of chilling in there. Don't worry about that right now. This big guy right here is how you make legendary gear from recipes. Is as you defeat bosses, you'll gain these runes, and you can combine those runes to make various legendary items using that purple currency you see down there. You can also dismantle your legendary stuff that you don't need anymore, and I think, yeah, legendary or higher can be dismantled, and you get soul shards from legendary. Annihilation crystals are new. Mythic was a tier that got added in 1.0. And as you might imagine, it says right down there, dismantled stuff can't be restored. Once it's dismantled, it's gone. This guy, I think, was new in 1.0. I don't remember seeing him. The aura of the abyss stirs restlessly around you. You must have just entered the rift, right? In that case, I may be able to help you with whatever it is you seek. I'm Zyros, known as the Collector of the Abyss. Everything I offer comes from the chaos in the rift. If your magic stones are worth the price, I may be able to draw out the weapon you seek. Show me your charged magic stones. The Abyss demands a price. Just keep in mind that the results may be more than you can handle. The Abyss is chaos itself. I can call something forth, but even the gods cannot tell what it will be. So ready to test your luck? Okay, so there's a different gambler, basically. For better stuff. Okay. There is a gambler in town that works with gold, I think? He might also use the same currency, I don't remember. But his stuff, I think, caps out at a lower tier. The fact that you can gamble for legendary here is actually kind of nice. We're not going to really indulge in that right now because I don't know how much stuff's been added gear-wise. And I don't really want to sit there and burn all my currency before we've even shown how the gameplay is. There's also another class that's been added, and I still didn't even have all of the classes back before, because I could never figure out how to get one of them. Oh, they moved stuff a little bit, I think. Yeah, the town's been rearranged a little bit. This used to be at the far left side of the town. Now it's here in the middle, I guess. Oh, that's gonna be a little weird. I'm gonna get used to that. Yeah, this is your blacksmith. Oh, he's got stuff to say. Hey, have you heard anything about Black Plateau? Word is, there's always been some strange types living out there, the so-called Seeker. The monks of the monastery never look kindly on them. They reject the gods and runes, seeking transcendence through nothing but relentless self-discipline. I've heard the monks and nuns from my old monastery talk about them after returning from outside missions. Like seeing their training grounds near Black Plateau or spotting someone using very strange battle gear. Even Ben has heard something about that too. That the weapon was hard to describe. It somehow had its own glow of light even without etched runes. If that's real, it must have been forged in a totally different way. A transcendence weapon with its own will. I don't think such a thing can be made with the means of this world. And if something like a smoldering heap of ash remains where they failed and vanished, that might be an ember. Ember of transcendence. It wouldn't be a simple enhancement material, only one strong enough to embrace its essence would ever bear the weight of its will. Take this, it's a small brazier. Forged with my own rune hammer. If you ever find that ember, this will hold it, at least for a while. Okay, that must be another new mechanic. Yeah, this guy sells basic gear. it does scale with your level, so you can actually get some stuff that's pretty worth your time. Like this Gladiator Scimitar here is actually not too bad. Stronger than the two-handed sword we have right now. Looks like all of the NPCs might have something for us. Okay, yeah, the left edge of town is just nothing now. Oh, this is so weird. Okay, so the alchemist lives here now. Yeah, this is how you boost your life potions. You get only a certain amount of them that you can carry at a time. You can't just, like, buy a ton of potions or anything. Even though this has huge Diablo vibes, it's not as much of a just potion frenzy as Diablo can be. You can get potion charges back as you play, though, so it's not as bad as it may sound. I've also fully upgraded the potion. It takes a bit to fully upgrade it, but it's not too hard to get to. Then there's you, who sells accessories, much in the same way her husband sells gear. These accessories will scale, and they will be kind of handy if you end up having some bad luck with your drops. Oh yeah, there's also another dismantler out here. What does this statue do? Oh right, this statue is how you determine difficulty, and this is now how we head out, it looks like. This is the gambler I was talking about. Oh, he does go up to legendary, just not with everything. Like, belts stop at rare for some reason. I think he used to have a lower cap than legendary. But maybe the stuff from the other guy's different. This shop still has nothing. Because you actually find the NPCs as you go. Like, I didn't always have everybody that's in here available, I don't recall. These are the other characters. I have the Herbalist and the... You start with the Spellblade. You have to pick up the Berserker and the Herbalist as you play. And you can also switch elixir types. Which you can only have one elixir, as you see there. Oh wait, yeah, the Herbalist is just a source of the elixirs. Right, I remember now. Spellblade is the only other class I have. Which, as you can see, does play a little bit differently. Depending on the weapon you have, yet again. Is you can have dagger... you can't use axes or anything. I need to go to my stash to grab a different weapon that he can actually use. Which... Why isn't there a stash next to where you switch characters? That's a little weird. I may want to move a stash over there, just for convenience when you're switching characters. Is the gear you're currently wielding is on the character that you equip it on, but your entire inventory is stationary. Like, it'll still be the same inventory no matter which character you're on. What I wanted to quickly do is grab weapons that the... Oh, it's treating all these as if I acquired them for the first time again. So let's just quickly pick all of those back up for a second so that they're all properly credited again. Probably because 1.0. But I believe that'll re-enable me being able to make them, which it looked like I was still able to make them, so it probably wasn't necessary to do this. But like, if I equip this axe, you'll notice my attack animation changed. He summons like a blue axe instead of a much quicker blue knife. Pull out the fire sword. We are still in ice mode, because that was, I think, the last basic attack I chose, so he stays on blue mode. But you'll notice it's now summoning a sword, and it's a little quicker. And of course, fire dagger, same as the ice dagger, unless you pick a different skill associated with that. Which, as you can see, entirely different skill tree, with a full set of fire, ice, and lightning skills of every tier. So that's your primer on how everything in this game is. Let me just undo the damage I did to my inventory, and we'll actually get out there and do stuff. In fact, let's just put everything away. I'll figure that out later. I've already took up a bunch of time just figuring things back out and demonstrating some stuff. You want to take a quick look? Okay, yeah, I've got high paladin armor, which is pretty good. Yeah. I made a bunch of these legendaries for the express purpose of being a bit stronger. We had the Blitzkrieg Sentinel, right, because I don't have a lightning primary weapon. Like, I don't have, like, a lightning dagger or anything. At least I didn't. Can I make one? I don't think I can. I'm going the wrong way. Hang on. Oh yeah, there is a dodge everybody has. In the case of the Spellblade, he just does like a little cape twirl. I genuinely don't remember what lightning weapons there are. I think there might only be a two-handed one that I have access to, but I just genuinely don't remember. As you can see, there's a lot of legendaries I don't have access to, and there are more than there used to be. Like, the Throwing Hammer of Thunderbolt is new. And these legendaries change your basic attack. Like, you see with this one, Sword of Lightning turns into Hammer Throw, which would be really nifty. But you have to have picked up that legendary piece in order to be able to make it. And that's why it was important that I pick up all of those things. Lightning Frenzy changes to a larger attack area. Yeah, I do have the Blitzkrieg Sentinels over there, but as you can see, I'm missing some of the runes for it. Because you have to defeat bosses on different difficulties in order to get different runes from them. Frenzy Deluge Sword, sort of Roaring. The thing is, it does show you other class weapons too. There's a bunch of Revenant-only things, which I still don't have Revenant, and I don't really know how to get Revenant. I think you might have had to actually get like a win to get the Revenant. I'm not really sure. Yeah, let's just not worry too much about this. I wanted to quickly check to see if there was a lightning weapon I could make, and there isn't. So, do I want the fire dagger or do I want the ice dagger? Our Blade of Frost is slightly stronger. No, this raises basic skill damage, so I'd rather keep that. And I'm probably not going to go pure lightning anyway. So if I remember right, going pure element is good, but there are plenty of cases where splitting them is good as well. Like, I genuinely don't remember any of how I normally run this game. It's been a bit. Which is also why we're probably going to stay on adventure, so I don't just get my ass kicked. I'm gonna assume I need to go to the statue. So how do I raise the difficulty now? No, doesn't seem like I have the option anymore. Maybe they got rid of the option, like maybe it reset me just like it did my gear. I'm not sure. But basically, each map is its own stage, and each stage you have to kill everything. I recall to get through. Like, you see the ×9, now ×8. You gotta clear the room and just keep on keeping on. There will be boss fights as we go. Also, is the volume audible or is it quiet? Because it seems kind of quiet to me. Yeah, it's a little quiet. Let me raise that for y'all. I probably lowered this when I was playing in my own time at some point, and then just didn't realize. That should do. That should be a bit easier for y'all to hear. If it needs to get any further volume increases, just let me know. Meanwhile, I'm going to try to get my rhythm back. There will be loot chests to pick up everywhere. This is what I was talking about. You can just find in potion charges in the boxes. I think on rare occasion, enemies can drop them too, if you're really lucky. Oh yeah, you'll want to carry ruby keys around with you everywhere, because there's these fancy chests that'll give you a lot of good stuff. But you have to have the keys to open them. As you can see, we are a little too strong for the first area on adventure difficulty, but it'll be okay. We also have a bunch of plot items that we've picked up over time. We just won't worry about those right now. So Sword of Lightning deals all of your attack damage as lightning instead of whatever element the weapon you have does. Sword of Fire, same thing but fire, can apply burning. Jolted is fun, by the way, on the lightning, because I forgot to address it. It'll take additional damage as lightning, and it passes the damage to enemies nearby as well. And then, of course, there's Sword of Frost, which deals all of your damage as cold, and has a 40% chance to chill and slow enemies. They're all pretty good in their own right, and then you have a couple passives over here. Generate extra mana when hitting with basic attacks, extra mana when killing, extra damage after a dash, and mana regen after a dash. I almost never use this handful over here, because mana generation off your basic attack is usually good enough. Because a lot of them also have no, only fire I think has mana generation built in. Yeah, but I used Sword of Fire a lot. We'll go ahead and full commit to lightning, even though we have a fire weapon, because this will still convert the fire damage to lightning. I do believe, so it'll be fine. And we'll get to those skills later. But as you can see, our animation's changed. It's the same speed, but now it's lightning instead of blue. Just like blue generic magic. And at the end of every stage, you get a choice between two chests. In this case, we get an artifact or an advanced soul gem. We'll take the artifact because we don't have any artifacts yet. Attack power increased by 10%. Whenever enemies take damage over time, the next instance of damage over time is amplified. That's pretty good. Movement speed and dash cooldown. Restore 5 health on enemy kill and critical hit damage increased. Give? Anything that gives me health back makes me happy. Like, as you might imagine, that is just usually a good idea. Don't know how these guys are just hanging out with that skeleton, but it's fine. No judgment here. As you can see, you actually have really good movement. Like, you can split your double jump and your dash up pretty well. So if you really feel the need to, like, style on somebody, or you really need to get away from something, you have some good movement options. Let's go ahead and grab our next skill point. You'll notice we can't go up here yet because we need to spend another point. So we'll go ahead and grab the 30% chance to daze with our sword. There we go. Soul gem or artifact again. We'll take another artifact. 10% attack power, and bleeding has increased critical damage. 7 intelligence. Ooh, yeah, this is one of the good ones. For every 15 enemies you kill, your intelligence increases. Or critical hit chance by 2.5% and cooldown reduction. Obviously, as the Spellblade, we want intelligence. And let me tell you, I'm not joking when I say we're going to be doing a lot of killing. So anything that is based on X amount of kills will scale very well. So you're going to get some real power that way. And there's going to be this caravan that we just kind of run into occasionally. She sells a handful of items, but primarily she sells these ruby keys. So I'm going to grab 2 of those and not really worry about much else she's got at the moment. This guy will sell you some food if you need to heal. It also gives you a buff for a couple areas. Over here, we have a market where you can buy artifacts. That's run by Brookon here. The big guy in the back is just part of the cooking. Let's actually sell the stuff I'm carrying here. Oh, right, you sell things for the purple currency, not for money. So actually, I did screw myself up a little bit by buying too many ruby keys, because now we can't buy an artifact, but it's fine. You can also buy skill points. Oh, interesting. There's a dialogue here that wasn't here before. The corpse is tightly bound with red threads. Traces of insects gnawing at the flesh are visible here and there, but an eerily familiar energy flows from within. There's an ominous allure that's hard to turn away from. But yeah, you can buy skill points here. Why is it having a dialogue with each of these? A strange pulse emanates from the corpse wrapped in red threads. The aura resembles that of a successor, yet there's a twisted sensation mixed within. It's impossible to be certain what left those marks. And then the third one. After the third corpse takes its place, the insects collectively shrink back. The energy seeping from them mirrors the power of a successor. It feels less like life and more like remnants, fragmented memories lingering in the air. So yeah, now that I'm not being interrupted by the game, you can buy these skill points here, and that will either add a point to a skill you already have, or as you can see here, you can buy sets of skill points for things you have no way of reaching yet, and you'll be allowed to use it. Like, I could buy the Lightning Frenzy right now if I had the money, and I would become much more powerful because I would then have a core skill before I'm supposed to be able to have that. And that's all run by Morgul here, which you can restock them by paying gold, but I'm not going to do that right now. And there's also a respec potion here, but bear in mind what it says there. You can only use it once per run. So don't use it too early unless you made a mistake very early on. But as we generate more gold, we'll be able to make more use of that. And periodically, we'll run into Endes here. Tell me more about Drakan, the man that the merchant group sells artifacts. Is he retired from fighting in the desert? Do you know his name? I once had a fellow who trained with me to become a successor. He was incredibly gifted. He could hold a dozen artifacts and still maintain his sanity. I heard he lost much of his ability when he tried to use the power even more artifacts against a particular demon. That was the last I heard of him. I never knew where he went. Urkan? That was not his name. His name was Zarmok, a popular name among previous successors. Yeah, Endes has been teaching us about being a successor, because that's what we are collectively called, is we are basically taking on the mantle body by body. And there's a whole thing I seem to recall where people don't really trust successors because they're different and all that. But what this does here is you get a choice between two options, which increases whichever synergy by 1. Now, you might be wondering, that doesn't seem like much. Bear in mind, a lot of synergies activate at 2, and things like the talent synergy are really good. Because every level you get 3 more in every stat. Just to use that as an example. So if you have just +1 to one of these guaranteed at all times, you then only need 1 artifact to activate the base level of that synergy. And it starts to make more sense probably why this is useful. Let's go ahead and restock this and see if I can get something I'm actually looking for though. Sturdy or merchant? Do I have merchant? Merchant would be pretty good. I don't have merchant. But I'll go ahead and take merchant. Is what merchant does is you get 5% of your gold every time you finish a stage, so you start getting interest. The best part though is all of your costs in the camp are reduced by 50%. So we can start buying skills and food and artifacts a lot more once we have level 2 merchant. And it'll be nice if we ever get to level 7 where we can actually get a multiplier for our damage for all of our gold, but that probably won't happen. I'm not going to be focusing on items that give merchant enough to get that. But now we travel onward to the next stage, and we proceed basically this way until we reach the end of a run through life or death. Here we have Guinevere the tree spirit that is protector of this area, but is kind of in shambles right now, so all they can do is give us one thing on our way through. We can have less mana, more health, or more mana, less health. I'm gonna take the more health, less mana, because I don't really use my mana heavily enough most of the time to need that to be the way that goes. But But after our visit with Guinevere, we see why they're having trouble. Well, fairly soon. I thought it was the boss fight right afterwards, but I think it's this stage and then the boss fight. Another healing potion. Oh yeah, watch out for these teleporting guys. They're kind of nasty, especially when you're not that strong yet. Because they'll just sneak up and really jack you up. And those guys with the extra barrier around their health bar, those are elites. They all have unique effects of one flavor or another. There's some that shoot fire around. There's some that does, like you saw there, which making the shadow chains. There's also one that'll poison, one that does ice. The ice one I remember being particularly nasty. Same with the poison one. They both can really ruin your whole day. Right, skill point. Yeah, now we can pick up Lightning Frenzy naturally, or we can get Lightning Rush. We could get both, but I generally recommend getting one of each, personally. Because these drain resources, the next one's gonna be on cooldown, and then your ultimate is also on cooldown. So having multiple resource draining ones means you can spam them, but it also means you burn through your resources like immediately. We'll go ahead and take Lightning Frenzy. I remember Lightning Frenzy being good, though Lightning Rush was also not bad, but the dash on it can be dangerous. Yeah, you can also just knock potions off edges. Yeah, right now we're not even really gonna need to use Lightning Frenzy at all, but... Oh yeah, you have a chance of getting ruby keys out of the currency chest, by the way. So if you don't want to keep buying them, or you just want more gold and such, you can just start playing your luck with the currency chests. Personally, I'm gonna take another artifact. Oh, there we go, we got our second merchant one. Ooh. That's good for me because I refresh a lot. 7% more move speed, and refreshing the same vendor 5 times in the camp reduces the cost of that refresh for 80% until the end of the game. And then you have 5% cooldown reduction and a critical chance against things that are afflicted with damage over time. And 3.5% critical hit chance, and whenever you deal magic damage to a burning enemy, the burning duration is increased by up to 500%. Up to a maximum of 500% seconds. So basically, the other two were great for other setups, not for lightning, really. Though Jolted does... No, Jolted doesn't do damage directly. Well, no, it does. I don't know if that counts as damage over time, though. That might be in a weird category of its own. Oh yeah, Fast Lightning is also really good, because I believe Fast Lightning just randomly strikes an enemy with lightning. So the more you can charge Fast Lightning, the more you can just do ridiculous damage. I think the hierarchy for burst damage is lightning, then fire, then ice. Whereas I think ice is the sustained damage one? Actually, no. Ice is control, fire is sustained damage, and lightning is you just destroy the thing quickly. I think that's how it went. Which, you know, you'd be kind of surprised if ice wasn't the control set, wouldn't you? Because ice is all about slowing and freezing and things like that, so why wouldn't it be? Yeah, that's the fire one that can really ruin your day. If you aren't paying attention, you just traipse your way through those fireballs, you are going to regret your life choices very quickly. As you can see, we're leveling fast right now. We are not going to stay leveling that fast. Now that we have access up here, we can grab Elite Hunting, which kind of isn't great because you need to be using one of these assist skills, which they're actually pretty good, and the lightning one in particular is not bad because it'll do 50% lightning damage to everything around us and makes our lightning deal more damage. In fact, oh yeah, they all do the same thing. What am I talking about? I don't remember Magic Barrier, but I think I may have just, like, never used it. I'm not sure. But yeah, Lightning Amplification, it goes in that slot. It's basically just another button to remember to push occasionally, as far as I'm concerned. Thief's Will's real good. 10% gold gain does add up pretty quick. But the Broken Skull gives 10% attack speed, 50 more max health, 50 more max resource. That's pretty useful. Crescent Sickle, 10% attack power and extra... Oh, right, we saw the Crescent Sickle before. If I take this, though, that puts us up to 3 Merchant, which is useless. But 1 more point of Merchant cuts the costs down. So yeah, we'll take this as another good early choice because it allows us to benefit economically, and then we can then turn that economic power into real power. And now we're running over to the first boss, Longmore, which is a three-headed tree creature, which you have to attack the tree that has the red on its face. As you can see, I'm just destroying it because we are, like I said, too strong for adventure difficulty. This is a demonstration. Every time you beat a boss, you get a free legendary weapon. Well, not legendary weapon, just legendary item. And in this particular case, it's actually stronger than the one I have. We lose the dexterity bonus. That is really good fire damage, though. And decent projectile damage. So this will be a really good Dancing Flame to use when we're doing actual fire. But I think I want to keep the dexterity for right now. Because remember, dexterity... Oh, no, actually, dexterity's not that useful even for the Spellblade. I thought it did something else. It's for the Spellblade. So no, actually, we will change that. We lose 7% physical damage, but that's fine. We're just doing straight up more direct damage. Because a lot of your skills are based on your weapon damage. So if your weapon damage sucks, your skills are gonna kind of suck. I mean, it could be. Let's see. I don't really want anything from you right now. Oh yeah, if you're in a bad spot, she's a great way to get healing potions back as well. What do you got here? Critical damage? Nah. Not an artifact. Critical hit chance increased by 3.5. Garbage. Max resource up by 30. Recover the resource by 2 whenever you inflict bleeding on an enemy. That's way better for the Berserker, not for me. Strength increased by 5. Attack power increased by 12%. Similar case of that's much better for the Berserker, though the strength isn't useless to us, I don't think. This would be great if I was doing fire, but this is not what I want. Try again. I can get Lightning Strike. That could be really useful. Getting a point of our mastery skill straight away. Is that the mastery skill I want, though? Lightning Sphere is not bad either, but yeah, I think we'll take Lightning Strike. Let's quickly re-roll the artifact one time to see if I get something better. Let's see. Attack power increased by 10%. If you attack a burning enemy, charge your resources by 2. That'd be great if I was doing fire. 15 max resource cost down by 7%. No. Attack power increased by 20%. That's pretty good. 20% extra attack power is nothing to sneeze at, but I'll grab the mastery skill here. You'll notice we just immediately have that skill. Pay no mind to the mess everywhere. That's just Gallatin Cave. Gallatin Cave is a mess. Mild gore warning for this area because this place is just covered in blood and gore and mess. Like, it's not great here. The monsters are also all on that theme, for the most part. Like, just Meat Man right here, for example. Don't let that thing grab you, the one I just killed, because it will just sit there and hold you, and you will take damage. Our Spellblade here is not really sure how to handle intimacy when it has sharp objects involved. Need to start actually using my moves now. we got lightning elite somewhere. Or we did, anyway. Because I saw the lightning crashing down behind me, and that wasn't my lightning. You might ask, how can I tell? The answer is because it was targeting me. And I'm out of keys, damn it. I thought I had a key left, which is why I didn't buy one. Well, real shame for me. These boots are better than my shoes. I'm gonna lose a bunch of intelligence if I swap, though. Maybe not. And just a plain old one-handed axe. It is higher damage, more mastery skill damage, but not particularly helpful to us. Yeah, we don't have enough points for this, but you'll notice... Oh yeah! That's one of the benefits of something I'm wearing, by the way. Every skill I have goes up an extra point. Wait. Why do I have an extra point there? Is there something I'm forgetting? So I'm at 2, because there's +1. There must be something I'm forgetting that I have. Oh yeah, as you can see, I have a lot of the runes, but it's a lot of nightmare runes that I don't have. Is it this thing down here? Is that the thing I'm forgetting about? No. Why do I have the +1? I thought the +1 came from the other suit of armor that I'm not wearing right now. I am somewhat confused. Well, best not to worry about it right now, I guess. I still need to spend that point, though. Ooh, there we go. Statue of Wrath. Attack power up by 15%. Enemies affected by jolting have an increased chance of taking critical damage by 15%. So basically just 15% more crit chance against things that are affected by my basic attacks. 15% extra attack power, increased bleeding damage, 7% move speed, and 8% evasion rate. We're obviously taking the Statue of Wrath because it goes with our main mechanic. And now we have another synergy as well. Specifically, we now have the momentum synergy, which allows me, whenever I hit an enemy, there's a 25% chance to either weaken, daze, or make vulnerable whatever my target is. Just bear in mind, we can only have so many artifacts. Once we fill this cross of artifacts out, you can't have any more. Right, that's what those are. The essences are the extra items given to you by the NPCs you run into on the way. Right, that was what those were. Yeah, I must have something that's just granting me an extra mastery skill point. Because I bought one, but I didn't get one yet. Huh. We'll figure that out in a minute. This is why I like lightning amplification. I remember now. Every second you unleash a bolt of lightning at enemies near you for 35% of damage as lightning. And it is chain lightning. So we just have naturally occurring chain lightning around us as long as I remember to turn on lightning amplification. So basically, if you see these little stars flying around me, people are going to get struck by lightning. It's very convenient that way. I need some cooldown reduction, though, so I can keep that up all the time. Oh yeah, basically all of your skills can be done in the air, by the way. Like, I think there's a couple rare instances where you can't use it in the air. And I think it's mostly the ranged ones, annoyingly enough, that you can't use in mid-air. But an annoying strat you can do if you really end up feeling the need to is you can just keep lightning amping and then just dodging around instead of attacking something if it's something you're having a hard time dealing with. I think there might be a chest up above that I didn't go get. Because it is worth your while to explore a little bit. Say there's a chest here, for example. Get us a little bit more money. Now, you might think I have enough money. The answer to that is no, I do not in fact have enough money. If I can't buy out the shop, I don't have enough money. Oh yeah, bottom left of the screen, you'll see how many times the intelligence thing is kicked, and in the top left, you'll see all my active synergies, which I don't think the active synergy thing was there before. I think that's also new. I'm not 100% sure about that. Lightning Strike has an 80% chance of inflicting daze. Lightning Strike creates its 5 lightning pillars to the left or right. Creates a lightning prison area and deals damage to enemies in the prison. These are mutually exclusive choices, by the way. If you take either of these, you can't take the other one, and from what I recall. Same deal goes with every choice along the way here. Which, actually, I'm going to go ahead and grab the Sword of Chain Lightning, because I forgot to grab that earlier. That's really good for clearing the fields. We'll take a currency one, see if I get a key. Nope. Sad. I should have taken the Soul Gem. Soul Gems are just like free stat buffs and such. They're actually really good to have. So I'm more inclined to take the advanced ones because they're better. But the regular ones aren't half bad either because, you know, any buff is a good buff. Now for one of the bosses that usually was a wall for me when I was a little weaker. And is definitely a wall for me on Nightmare occasionally still. The Tormentor. Some of his attacks aren't too bad, but that slam, for example, that I just ate is one that catches me a lot. And he's just real good about just dropping in very abruptly, off of like a jump or such. And you notice, even when we're pretty strong, he does a lot of damage to us. Like, we'll win the damage race right now, but I easily could have lost that if I decided to make a poor choice and just, like, not be aggressive or something. Oh, we got the Volcanic Sword. I don't think we had that one yet, actually. And then we get a bunch of goodies. And then onward we go. Like, I'm making this seem easy, but trust me, when you're first starting out, this game is actually pretty hard. The Orb of Fire can bounce up to 1 times, with its damage decreasing by 50% with each bounce. If there's no enemies nearby, the orb will explode based on the remaining number of bounces. Not bad, not bad. That's not a bad brooch. But our talisman right now is... Oh no, that's... Oh no, this is the talisman, and we definitely need it for the setup we're doing right now. That's a pretty good strength helmet, but that replaces our Chimera's Belief, which our crit chance increases our damage right now. Right, that's why I like dexterity with this setup, is dexterity raises your crit chance, which in this particular case means basically all my damage gets better the more dexterity I have. Ooh, 23% lightning damage and better armor. Yeah, put that belt on. We will be a champion with this belt. Okay, good. Making sure that the capture's working, because I do remember the capture freezing with this game before, so I'm always a little extra alert of that. Now for the monastery, another place where I got walled for a bit. Basically, this like middle section of the game stymied me on regular difficulty when I was first playing this for a solid bit. Let's see, dueling shoes, 25% extra attack power and 7% move speed. That's pretty good. 10% attack power, and whenever you take damage, your armor is increased by 15%. That's not bad, but not something I need. Skill we've seen before. What are skill points? Nothing I want. Okay. Let's go ahead and grab the dueling shoes. You can buy all of the artifacts that are shown, by the way, or you can re-roll and have a full set again. Yeah, Hunter's Feather. That's a good one for us right now. 10% attack power. Enemies in the jolted state have a 30% chance to critically strike, like for 5 seconds, with an increase of 12%. So basically, we get even more crit chance against something that's jolted. So we'll grab that. That also gets us our lightning synergy, which is very important to us. is that's punishment. When hitting with basic skill, Thunderbolt of Punishment and falls, dealing damage equal to 60% and of your attack to nearby enemies with a chance of 50%. Now, punishment's good on any basic skill-based attack next setup, but on lightning it synergizes well because I believe anything that increases lightning damage increases Thunderbolt of Punishment. So you can just scale that way. Yeah, Glaring Cave Skeleton Cave rather is clear. You can just go and come and go all you want. It's still very meaty and messy, but you can go there if you want. I don't know why you'd want to. This place, of course, is gonna have a lot of demons and weird stuff. A lot of which is just gonna get disposed of immediately, so, you know, take a good look while you can. Because I'm gonna have to dispose of them fast, or I'm gonna get disposed of fast. Like, this area is very dangerous even now. As you probably saw by the way my health dropped for a second before I started tearing through them again. This is why I wanted the Chain Lightning, is so that I could clear places like this a bit safer. Champion's Boots, okay, might be worth it. I once again forgot to buy keys because I was planning on spending all my money, which I thought we did, but I guess I got money back just that fast. As promised, we'll take the Advanced Soul Gem now. As you can see, 12 intelligence straight up, 10% to all resistances, or 20% mastery skill damage. You can also just get skill points straight up from the Advanced Soul Gems, which is what's really cool about them. At least, that's what I really like about them. Let's see, we have 2 points, so we can actually grab our ultimate here. Extra crit chance when hitting enemies with mastery skill while jolted. Don't care about that much. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get an 80% daze on Lightning Strike, and then we go up here, and we get Lightning Storm. A lightning storm is created and fast lightning rains down on the enemies, dealing 150% damage per unit of lightning. As you might imagine, that's going to be a lot of lightning. And it is resoundingly effective under the right circumstances. Like there being one target to hit with all the lightning. Ta-da! It was a little poorly timed, so it ended up not doing much that time. But it should give you the idea of how effective it could be. No, the potion fell off, but that's fine. I don't need it right now. Like, lightning is really just like maximum cheeseball mode as far as clearing stages goes, because you just have so much AoE. You just naturally eat with the chain lightning. Just like, hey, everything die. I don't want anything to be on my screen. Perish. You're not on my screen? That's fine. The chain lightning will get you anyway. I don't need health still. I thought I needed to heal, but I don't. Get struck with lightning. It's very silly. Let's see. Mithril armor, 25% attack power and 50 extra life. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Soul water skin, 3.5% crit chance, 10% crit damage. Critical hits from your attacks increase your maximum resources by 10 for 5 seconds. And the Warrior's Horn. Cooldown reduction increased by 5%. If you have less than 60% life, you gain a 15% increased crit chance. We're taking the Mithril Armor, which gets us even more synergies piled up. Like, I have a lot of little synergies. I don't have any big ones yet. You can focus on them, but you have to kind of hope you get good RNG to focus synergies. We'll be cleaning out some of these artifacts and replacing them as we go, but right now we have Merchant, Flourish. Flourish, when I dash, I gain an extra move and attack speed for a bit. Momentum we talked about, Punishment we talked about. Satiation, whenever I eat a life potion or food, my max life permanently increases by 10. Satiation's real good. And Magic Rampage is also a very nice one for us to have. 50% increased damage increased by 50% of resources missing. So if I say set my entire mana bar on fire, I suddenly do way more damage. Sure, we'll electrocute them with the lightning storm. Yeah. Yeah, I acknowledge this may not necessarily seem like the most exciting game right now. You know, because of the fact that, you know, I'm showing it from being a bit further ahead. But I just love this game. Like, there was definitely a period where any stream I didn't know what I wanted to do, I did this. Oh yeah, this is a flying boss, by the way. Vargas is kind of annoying. He also hits really hard. Or with all of his fireballs and such that he does. But thankfully, as you can see, he's not that tough. Like, his health bar is kind of low on the scale of bosses from what I remember. Especially after they rebalanced him a little bit. Because I seem to recall he started off really, really bad. And then they made him a little more reasonable. And now he's dead. Oh, apparently... Huh, but I had that achievement. I definitely beat him before. Oh well. Cursed Shackles. I don't remember having that. For every damage over time effect, make the enemy dealt... The damage dealt to them increases by 6%, and the damage they take is reduced by 4%. Oh, I guess they take less damage from me, but they take more damage over time? Oh, that seems a little weird. The wording on that may be also a little weird. There's occasional bits in this game where the wording is a little odd. You just kind of get used to it. As you can see, we're already a good chunk of the way through. If I remember, I don't think I ever really got much past the Black Plateau. Black Plateau was usually my stalling point. I don't know why those were in brackets. That was a little weird. Transcendental Flute, cooldown reduction increases by 8%. Increased duration of dazed by 3 seconds. That's not bad. We do a lot of dazing. 25% increased attack power, 3.5% crit chance increase. There's the Sensor of Strength, which... would that help us? It would get us armor, but no. I do think I want the Hawk Sculpture because we do benefit from crit chance, and I have been leaving a lot of crit chance options behind. Grab at least a couple keys. Damage reduction, some health, that's not too bad. What skill points do you have? Free Sword of Lightning? I wouldn't have minded the Lightning Storm, but I'll definitely buy the Sword of Lightning skill point. Is, remember, a bunch of these level up repeatedly. So, having this at level 2 without having put a skill point in it helps. And here's the fun thing about those. You can go past the skill cap with something if you purchase skill points. Like, you can go further beyond. The only thing we can afford is Reconciliation. That would raise our Magic Rampage. What's the shield broken one again? Do I even have a point in that to find out? I do not. But we can just look at it through looking at the item. Vulnerability. Basic skill makes enemies vulnerable on hit. That is a really good one to have, too. Vulnerability just makes your damage scale faster, because obviously they take more damage the more vulnerable they're made. Eternal Torment. That's a pretty good one. 7% cooldown reduction, 25% more max resources. For every 10 enemies killed, your max resources increases by 3, but you can only get at it 10 times, so you'd only be gaining 30. But that's still like a quarter more of the resource meter we have right now. Training Manual, 10% increased experience gain and 25% extra attack power. That's just a good solid one, and the synergies are pretty useful. Beast increases your basic attack damage, which basically the more you hit. And Forlorn Hope, when you have less than 80% health, your attack speed's increased by 25%, which, good news, you'll probably be at less than 80% health most of the time unless you're particularly on top of keeping your health up. So, that's pretty nifty. Would I get another cheap skill, though? I can get another Sword of Lightning. There we go. Level 3 Sword of Lightning, because I'm using that all the time. We don't quite have the decreased shop cost, otherwise I would be going crazy right now. Because we would just be really getting everything I could want. Yeah, buffing our Sword of Lightning, since that's the main move I use, does a lot for us. Especially now that we have a full set of skills, I'm probably going to be spending my points on Sword of Lightning till we max it out. Because, you know, it's your basic attack. Your basic attack probably should be something you put a decent amount into. Unless you have a specific setup where your moves gain a huge benefit or something. Yeah, we really should just go up to Nightmare difficulty after this. This is too cakewalky even now. The only thing is the bosses are way stronger than the stage enemies are. So there's still a world where I'm going to lose this run before we make it through completely. Even with me using, like, a very powerful full setup that I know how to use. Yeah, these amulets are useless to us. Go ahead and get our last point of Sword of Lightning, so we technically have Sword of Lightning 7. Though it only is showing a green 5, so they may have changed it so that it doesn't push past the cap anymore. Bloodstained Wolf Leather, 25% attack power, and enemies taking damage over time take increased damage. 3.5% crit chance from Lucky Bracer, or 10% increased attack power, and whenever enemies take damage over time, increased damage over time damage. Meh. I think I'm actually gonna take the Bracer, which is kind of sad. Oh wait, no, I don't have an open space. Shit. The good news is you'll see over there on the left that it actually shows you the change in your synergies, so you don't have to sit there and number crunch that. I don't actually want any of these then. We'll go ahead and just take the money. Because at this point, we're basically going to be focusing on trading up as far as our artifacts go, not like side grading or trading down, if we can help it. I got annoyed, so I just threw Lightning Storm out. Just like, you know what? Fine, everything get off my screen. Yeah, part of how this whole setup works, by the way, in case people haven't figured it out, is the Paladin armor I have down there stacking. Is why I focus on the basic attack. I'll explain the more detailed version of that in a second here. There we go. Whenever you attack or take damage, you deal in 22% increased damage for 7 seconds, which stacks up to 20. So basically, since I'm doing fast attacks with the dagger, I'm basically always dealing 40% increased damage. That's part of why, anyway, why this is scaling so crazy. It's just I have a pile of free damage. Apparently I missed some enemies back here somewhere. Oh, more spawned in that I missed. It's easy to miss them when you're flying along too fast sometimes. Oh yeah, be careful with some of these later enemies. They can and will stun lock you. And it will get real bad. You gotta be quick on your feet in this game or you will regret. Advanced currency or soul gem? Let's take the soul gem. 10% core damage, 5% in resistances, or 15 more life. Earlier, the 15 more life would have been great. I'm gonna go ahead and take the core damage. His core skills are the first set of skills you pick up. So you, in our case, Lightning Frenzy. Oh, I do have 2 skill points to spend. I should probably spend those. Right. We weren't done maxing out Sword of Lightning. Now we are. Whenever the green number's gone, that's how you know you've capped it out properly. The green number is showing that it's increased to that without having capped out yet. Now we have level 7 lightning, Sword of Lightning. 160% of damage is lightning, so that'll do pretty good. You know, in case you thought we weren't hitting hard enough already. Which, bad news, we aren't hitting hard enough yet. Not for the things we'll be dealing with soon. These guys are just hanging out, and then they get splattered. There is a lot of plot, by the way, but you're not going to see it for the most part here until I get to content I've not been through already. Yeah, this guy is actually dangerous, by the way, even for me at this point. So I'm just gonna go whole hog and clear him before he can be a problem. But you'll notice when he caught me with the waves there, he actually would have killed me if I hadn't drank a potion. Because he can just keep pushing you with the waves over and over again. And it can be very bad for your health. That is a better Dancing Flame for us, I think. We lose the fire damage, which we're not using, and the projectile damage, which we're also not using. And we gain extra gold gain and skill cooldown. The fire damage, though, I will keep that at Dancing Flame for actual fire builds, because 25% fire damage when you're actually using fire is going to be scary in a good way. Meanwhile, in this area, the Broken Holy Lance, which just kind of looks like a sword. Attack power increased by 50%, critical hit damage is increased by 45%. That's really strong. Bat Statue, attack power increased by 15%. Whenever you inflict bleeding on an enemy, you have a 15% chance to recover 50 life with a cooldown of 20 seconds. That would be very good for the Berserker. And the Chilling Arrowhead. Attack power increased by 25%. Your basic skill has a 25% chance to send 3 ice shards flying. Enemies hit by the cold shards take 30% damage as cold and are chilled for 5 seconds. That could actually be very good for us. We don't have any ice damage bonuses, but it's just a 1 in 4 chance of extra hits, basically, and slowing an enemy. Or we get Lightning Strike and Lightning Storm up an extra level. That is good. Both of those are good. The Broken Holy Lance would also be very nice. Attack power up by 50% is nothing to sneeze at. Because right now, our damage is 150. What would I give up for that, though? Probably something like the Hawk Sculpture, because it doesn't really synergize with us at the moment. We would go up by 25 attack power instead of 50, though. The Hunter's Feather's not a bad one to get rid of, either. It has synergy with our lightning. Oh, but wait, no, if I get rid of that, I lose my punishment, though. And that's not helpful. We would lose the synergy. Dueling Shoes are also not a bad one to drop, because I'm not benefiting from them that much either. In fact, I think I'm better off dropping the Dueling Shoes. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab that then. We can get 900 gold back. Do I still want the Chilling Arrowhead? The answer is not really, because it would be a synergy problem. The synergy it gives is useful, but it would not help us right now because we don't have anything for it to pair with to make it work. Yeah, so I may also start getting rid of my merchant bonuses at this point because we're making enough money that we don't need them. Amplifying Grimoire just gives 15% attack power. Ceremonial Sword wouldn't have been bad, but we gave up our Fury Peace Energy. 25% attack power is nothing to sneeze at, and 7% attack speed's nice. Fury increases your attack speed, is why it's good. Oh, wait, no. Well, it does later. The first one, though, is if you hit a aim target 5 or more attacks in 1 second, you increase your damage dealt. That stacks 10 times. You go up to 50% more attack. Attack damage once it fully stacks. And the second part of it increases your attack speed up to 30%. But it can stack higher once you max out Fury, which is where it gets scary. But it pairs well with aggression, as you see there, because your attack damage scales with your attack speed. So you see where those two kind of just scale each other up hand in hand a bit. Unfortunately, we're a little too broke for that. Unity would get me aggression. And it only needs 3 points for the first level of aggression. And it also has elements, which is the other one I was going to talk about with the frozen knife. Whenever you hit an enemy with basic skill with the attribute 3 times, deal the same attribute damage equal to basic skill of damage 120%. So basically, we hit him with Lightning Sword 3 times, it'll deal an extra Lightning Sword's worth of attack, but only 120% damage instead of its normal damage. And then it goes up to being able to spread that attack around. And then it just gives you flat 80% increased damage at the end. What else we got? No. I wish. Yeah, let's just take the lightning strike increase and move on with our life. Like, I lean very heavily on my basic attack with lightning, but I always make sure to have the skills so I can get some extra burst out if things go wrong, is basically the idea. Here's another guy who's gonna give us an essence. Bless of Dragon. When you take damage, increase all resistances by 20% for 5 seconds. Or all core skill levels increased by 5. Maximum level of mastery skills set to 1. That's fine, honestly. So now, you'll notice we can't level up Lightning Storm. And if we had purchased a bonus for it, I think that would have also been made moot. But if we scroll down here to our core skill, why? Wait a minute. Shouldn't that have... Did I read that wrong? All core skill levels increase by 5. Shouldn't there be a +5 on my core skill then? Maybe it's just not showing it. That may just be a visual issue. That may actually be that doesn't work. I may have wasted an essence. We'll find out. We'll deal with Spinny Boy here in a second. Now that he doesn't have friends, he's way easier to get rid of. As you can see, the pathing gets more complicated and the enemies all just continually get stronger. They usually are similar types. Like, you'll usually have your teleporty flying guy that's annoying. You'll have your heavy attackers, your fast ground attackers, a few ranged guys of one flavor or another scattered around. Like, you're not going to see crazy innovation in enemy types. Especially not at this point. Okay, yeah, there we go. There's the +5 showing properly now. It just needed to update. %70 damage with Lightning Fury is actually pretty nice. Because remember, that's the skill I can use with mana, so I can just spam that if I have mana. So you probably can't tell when I'm using that and when I'm not. Not very well visually, because the attack animations are very similar. Just when in doubt, if you can't tell if I'm using it or not, just look at my mana bar. If the mana bar is vanishing instantly, you know I'm using Lightning Frenzy. Because it just decimates my mana bar. With my amount of resources right now, we can literally just cast it twice and then we're empty. Whee! There's no fall damage, by the way. Gained another level, so we'll put another level into Lightning Frenzy. Basically, we're gonna go and max that out since we have the +5 for it. We'll end up just going up to level 10 for Lightning Frenzy, which is probably gonna cap out at like 80% damage, which isn't super impressive, but it's not bad. All the way down here just for a little bit of money. Sometimes you'll get lucky and there'll be better things down here. Not this time. And sometimes the exit's down here, I believe. Like, it can randomly appear either at the top or the bottom. Rude. I just got here, dude. Another mace. Another dead guy. Advanced artifact? Working whetstone. Ooh, there we go. Holy lightning rod. 10% increased damage. Critical hit damage increases. Basic attack hits have a 50% chance to jolt the target. That will be a perfect replacement for our Hunter's Feather. Because now we have a much higher chance of jolting our enemy. That's actually a pretty good one to have on non-lightning builds as well. So you can just add jolting to your repertoire without having to do too much. Jolting, for those who don't remember, if we just quickly scroll down. Jolted enemies deal 30% damage as lightning damage to themselves and nearby enemies. And after 5 stacks of jolted, they're electrocuted, which I believe is a stun. I seem to recall electrocuted is a stun, which is pretty good. Usually things don't live long enough to experience electrocution, though. They usually just get jolted and then are gone, as demonstrated here. But you'll notice we're clearing even faster now that I did that. Satiation stack increased. I need to throw some of this junk away, because you do have an inventory limit, as has been demonstrated there, and that does get annoying. Unless you pause at the caravans to, like, sell off everything periodically, you are going to run out of inventory space. What you really are probably going to end up doing for the most part is you're going to end up just stopping picking up gray items and things. And there we go, maxed out Lightning Frenzy, other than grabbing the secondary effects for it, which we should grab, because the increased fast lightning chance is actually super good. Is half the reason to use Lightning Frenzy is arguably to get the fast lightning stacks. And in a case like we're in right now, because you have +5 to it. Okay, good. The last enemy's here too. There it goes. Soul Gem or an advanced artifact. Let's keep trying to trade up with artifacts. This one's a pretty good one to have, the Heated Anvil. 20% critical hit damage, which isn't too much to write home about. Every rare artifact you destroy increases your damage to enemies by 5% up to 30 times. So 5 times 30. And there you go. You just go have fun with that. Archmage's Hat, that's pretty good. 45% attack power and 15% cooldown reduction. 15 in attack power from the Great Sage's Journal, 10 gold gain, and 10 experience gain. We're gonna trade that one We'll get rid of our Thief's Will, I think. Yeah, because the attack power gain is going to replace the little bit of power we're gaining from critical hit chance. And we gain another point for Talented. So now our stats are going to start ballooning. Though they did fix Talent a little bit. It used to be that this scaled like crazy. But now it doesn't scale as hard. Oh yeah. Take a look at the top level for Talent, by the way. Increases the level of all skills currently equipped in a slot by 10. It's a lot. But you have to put a lot of points into Talent to get that. Time for the boss. This guy's actually primarily dangerous just because he's hard to keep hold of to keep hitting him. So depending on your setup, he might actually cause you a major problem. Because he'll just keep jumping in and out of the field and tagging you over and over again like he's doing to me right now. Because he can hit you before you can hit him. But you can stun him, which only helps a little bit because he goes into second phase after he's stunned for a second. The good news about second phase is he stays still more, which is why he dies. How's it going, Zin? Just taking notes, I see. Touch of Light Speed. I don't think I've ever had that one yet. Hitting an enemy with basic skill increases the... Hitting an enemy with basic skill increases the attack speed by 10% for 4 to 5 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. Ooh. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well so far today. Been a busy day. This is the 3rd game we're playing today, but it's been fun. Oh, but I lose intelligence and lightning damage. But attack speed and better armor and... the bling! Look at all the legendary stuff I'm wearing. I have to have legendary everything. That's how it works. We all know that that's how you do best, is you just put on legendary everything. Editor's note, that is usually not actually the most effective thing to do. Probably don't do that. I had to be real for a minute there. I had to. Off to the Black Plateau. Though honestly, in some games, the legendaries are so fucking busted that it is actually a good move. Let's see, we get either the Enchanted Goblet, all skill damage increased by 50%, and we have 10% less life. Or level will immediately increase by 10, but you throw away all of your money. Do I want 10 levels? I kind of have most of my skills set in stone already. Oh yeah, it wasn't Lightning Storm that goes up to... that gets knocked down to only 1 level. It was Lightning Strike that only has 1 level now. That's fine. I really wasn't using Lightning Strike that much. We did lose 1 level I purchased, though. Oh, ew. Just a free legendary? Doesn't that just kind of make the whole point of legendaries not worth anything anymore? We're gonna take the all skill damage increase. 10% less health is fine. The 10 levels are tempting, but I don't really have points I'm that jazzed about spending at this point. We've got our 2 main moves maxed out already. Now let's see. Blessing of the Sharpshooter, extra crit chance. Enemies take 1% more damage per 3 dexterity. That's not bad. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Congratulations on just buying power by buying that DLC, I guess. Ooh. Maximum potion inventory is fixed to 1. It has no synergies. But every time you directly attack an enemy 10 times, there's a 35% chance to heal for 15. That could be ridiculous, but not right now. We do kind of need our potions still. We're a little too fragile to be playing silly games like that. Oh, it was a legendary weapon? Oh, no. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Speaking of disgusting, Blessing of Wisdom, 30% increased attack power, 1% extra damage per 3 intelligence. When I have 140 intelligence, give. What do I replace, though? We're not really using the mithril armor that much, but we would lose the satiation bonus. Honestly, I think I just give up the white mask. We'll give up a level of merchant, but we don't even have a benefit from that level of merchant right now anyway. What else we got here? Stem of Recovery, 40% more armor when you take damage when you don't have a life potion. You have a 30% chance of life regeneration, 10, and for 5 seconds, cooldown 10 seconds. Nah. What skill points you got? Garbage. Soul Ring, 50 resource increased, Mastery skill increases attack speed. There's the Sensor of Strength again, and the Unity. I don't want any of those. Try again. Silver Cross. That could be great, because all of our damage is magic damage, and we basically are always jolting things. Where would I fit it in, though? Like, it probably would replace the Statue of Wrath? Yeah, it probably would replace the Statue of Wrath. As we gain the critical hit chance, we lose 15% attack power, but we gain 25% magic power. So it balances out there. Yeah, I think that is just the choice here. Yeah, Punishment needs 4 points to get the 50% chance for double Thunderbolt and more damage. And we just don't have a means of generating that many points with the amount of space we have, so that just needs to be chucked. And off we go to cause more trouble. Actually, let me spend the rest of my money buying keys, because we are going to run into more ruby chests. Do I want a pie? No, I'm not missing any health. Thank you for your keys. Goodbye. We will probably never see each other again, except we'll see each other again in like 5 minutes. I suppose there comes a point with something like WoW where the power scaling just hits a point where they kind of have to do stupid things like that, where they just hand out legendaries, though. Because that game's been around for just so fucking long. I don't know. Ow, 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 ow. You know, most enemies don't deserve to get turned into a fountain of gore. That guy who was doing those ice fountains, he deserved being turned into a fountain of gore. Yeah, that's probably for the best if they pull it back down. If it just kept going up and up and up, it would just get out of hand even more. Lightning Strike may as well just be left to rot at this point. Increase fast lightning, extra damage to things that are jolted, or nope, there we go. 80% chance to trigger fast lightning when hitting a jolted enemy. There we go. Get all them fast lightning stacks. Let lightning rain upon the whole world. Yeah, Burning Crusade was still new the last time I really significantly touched WoW, other than a time I got dragged into it for a while by a friend of mine. And I forget what expansion was new at that point. I think it was... Oh god, what was that? It was after Pandaria, but I don't remember exactly where that was anymore. The thing Thing ends up being, I don't remember if Legion was out yet or not by that point. It was between those two, I think. Was the only other time I'd played. Even that wasn't that long. Yeah, that would probably be it. I think that's right. That sounds right. Each time you heal, your damage increases by 10% for 5 seconds. 7 attack power. No. I'm really tempted by the mysterious coins. Every time you land a crit, you have a 25% chance of gaining a coin. But I really think just, like, either Pieces of Freedom or nothing here. Because our core skill is very useful. We just don't have the space, so I think I'm just gonna get rid of that for the money and move on with my life. The problem is my synergy has too many moving parts now, so I can't really get rid of any of them, or the thing starts to get weird and not work anymore. Outside of trading for very specific things. Wow, there was a lot just in that pile that just died instantly. There's another bonus from Talon. Ow, 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 ow. Speaking of, yeah, our intelligence has gone up 27 points in the last couple levels because of all of the bonuses. It's ordinarily not supposed to go much at all. And yet, here we are, going crazy. I mean, I could start getting these if I really want to. This one, maybe? No. This one? I'm just in an awkward spot where I've, like, spent most of the points I care about spending now. Actually, no, I know what to grab. I know exactly what to grab. It's all the way down here at the bottom. Restore more mana. This way we can use our core skill more, now that we're actually, like, using that more significantly. Let's just grab a soul gem. Basic skill increases damage by 20%. That's pretty good. Core skill damage instead, or 2 free skill points. Well, gee, considering I was just having trouble spending my skill points, I wonder if I should get more skill points. The answer is yes, I'm getting the skill points anyway. Is we can just get 6 mana per hit. Time for another boss. This is the one that usually kills me. Like, even on low difficulties, this guy can kill me pretty easily. Usually. Thankfully, we do enough damage now that I'm pretty sure I can just take him in pure damage. So we gotta watch out for the second phase, because now he lets his hair down and he's real out for blood. By the way, you know how we're good at electricity? Yeah, he's better at it. He's way better at it than we are. We adopted the electricity. He was born in it. Oh god, I forgot about this part. Curse you for making me have to try. If I wasn't just chugging potions like a loser right now, we would have died like 3 times over there. But we got him. We did hit. Oh, we got a Blade of Frost, which is not that exciting. I've already had that like 6 times. There we go. Free the soul of the successor. So yeah, I think I have never beaten him then. I thought I had beaten him once. Unless maybe that was not available before. That's possible. Oh, right, I forgot to put your soul gems in the quest section. Right. We did it. Yeah, because I've been to the burial ground before, so I must have beaten him at least once. That may have been something that was added for 1.0 or something. Also, figured we were gonna find ruby chests, found absolutely none. That's good, but for somebody else. 10% cooldown reduction, 10% move speed, increase the damage of core and mastery skills by 25% when ultimate skills on cooldown. We don't really rotate our skills well enough for that. That's for if somebody's using ice. We don't have ice. 30% in chance to automatically use barrier skill when taking damage. Does not trigger if you have no barrier skills, which we don't have, so that's useless. Mirror of Soul Liberation, extra crit chance, and extra resource, no. Extra fire damage, no. Try again. Goose statue, extra gold, extra cooldown reduction. Increase the amount of gold you get for destroying artifacts. That would be useful right about now, but also not one that I want at this point. Though Shatter is very nice, actually, as a synergy. Once you have 3 points of it, you get 3% extra damage for every artifact you destroy. So basically, late game, you become a powerhouse because you just keep eating artifacts to get stronger. Because once you've got your synergy set up, you're probably going to be destroying every artifact you come across anyway. Attacking an enemy has a 50% chance to increase your highest attribute among strength, dexterity, and intelligence by 15 for 5 seconds. That's pretty useful, but not something we need now. And that's for burning enemies, which is useless. I'm not going to bother re-rolling it again. Let's see if we can get a skill point. Oh, hey, another Sword of Lightning skill point. Okay, sure. Can we get another one? We sure can. One more time. Damn it. So, for those who weren't keeping count, let's see how many points in Sword of Lightning we have now. Oh, hey, we just have 9 points in a 5-point skill. Interesting. Oh, I remember one of the enemies in here just like one-shotting me when I was here before, actually. And there's some of the guys from the Abbey are back again, like the guys who throw their innards at you. Because, you know, that's not upsetting at all. Firepot guys. Yeah, I think it's mostly just the flying guy with the green stuff that is new here. Oh wait, no, that thing that was behind that guy. Yeah, the bone boy here. He's new too, and he really sucks. Oh, that thing that just spawned with all the weapons, that was new too. He was on screen for a second, but he was definitely a new enemy. What do I even... I guess I just keep spending points on making this better. Yeah, there we go. 7 mana on hit. And we'll boost up the one that's mana on kill. Ow, 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 ow. Activate our nuke because it was getting bad. Need a gladiator sword. We missed a bunch of enemies somewhere, apparently. There must have been a path I didn't take. Eh, not up there. Must have been like a drop down or something that I missed. Or I dropped down too early somewhere. No, they just are over here, I guess. Some of them are. They must have like respawned late. Yeah, I just moved on too quickly from this spot. There we go. Area cleared. We are too strong. artifact or currency? Not a basic artifact, so I guess I'll take the currency. Both those chests kind of sucked. They really weren't going to do anything for us at all. But, you know, take what you can get and all that. I will say, even though I'm doing a bonus thing on this for 1.0, unless I go, like, unlock the other characters, I might not stream this again. And I know I said that back when I had stopped playing this for stream before. But obviously, you know, 1.0 is a good reason to come back to a game. Without the other character, or characters rather, I'm not sure there's much to show off. Like, obviously, going to areas I never managed to before is something. But it depends on if I can get there. Because they did add the actual finale of the game now. So if we can get there, that'll be new. And we're not starting to have too much trouble where I don't think we're gonna make it. But we could start having trouble at any time, so we'll see. Like, there's a very real possibility that this takes a turn against me at any point. There we go, full potions again, so that's good. So I have a decent amount of confidence, I'll say that. Considering the rate I can still just chew right through all the enemies. So I remember the last time I'd gotten here, I was starting to struggle to actually defeat anything. Which gave them time to just sit there and just pummel me. Apparently I missed some guys back here. They, oh right, delayed respawn again probably. I have a lot less problem as far as the delayed respawn thing goes on Nightmare, because it takes me longer to clear areas. So I don't end up zooming off quite as often. But I need to figure out how to trigger Nightmare again. You might actually need to, like, complete a run under the new circumstances, like, actually getting the finale. That might be why I'm missing some options and such. Advanced Soul Gem. I could just get more skill points. Yeah, if the choices are life, mastery, skill damage, or skill points, I'll take the skill points. It's not the best choice, but it's the choice I have. Here, let's go ahead and just buff the thing there. Why not? Because it gets a massive buff since it's core skill related anyway. I do remember fighting this thing. I don't remember if I beat it at any point. I think we did. And he might actually be the last fight, or at least he used to be the last fight of the early access at the point I had played. Ooh, wow, that stun is a little bit of a long one. It also does hit real hard. Oh, phase 2. Risking it. Committing. Got him. Ooh, if I kept trading with him like that, I was gonna lose eventually, because I drained 2 potions taking those hits. Hey, we got another rune. So maybe I haven't beaten him. Legacy of Attrition. Maximum resources increased by 150 but resource gain, I think it said, decreased? Yeah, resources decrease every 10 seconds. I mean, 10 by every second. Oof. Not a bad one, but I do like my heal every level one. Got one of my 2 potions that I used back, and we can make forward progress. I feel like I've been here before. No, there's Gold symbol here, though. There's a gold and a blue symbol here. Successor? You really defeat Relmazog and make it here? How impressive. Do you truly understand what lies beyond this door? I don't think so. Most step through it without ever knowing. I have a story to share with you. I'm Cecile Insor. The world calls people like me witches. Now where did you hear of me? Kailas, that old caretaker of Barilla Grounds, is still alive? No? I had wished for his survival. For all of them, really. We who are called witches descend from the bloodline that once served Goranane. At 10, we begin to attune to the power inside the rift. To that dangerous power of the Rune of Annihilation in Ingurnian's possession. When I was a child, my prayers always echoed back unanswered. None of the three gods ever answered. On my 10th birthday, I found out that I was tied to the black dragon who failed to become a god. Cece Linsor runs a hand slowly down the back of her neck. The Black Dawn, we are both a threat and their most coveted prey. They hunt us down, kill us, or take us alive. They drag us to their stronghold and carve the Rune of Annihilation into our hearts. They call that ritual the Pledge. Very few of us survive the ordeal. The ones who do become the Pledge and are sent back out into the world. We bait those with strong blessings with the power of runes and steal their blessings instead. Then the stolen blessings are sent back to the Black Dawn, to Gurnian's heart. That is called binding. The piece of life within a witch's heart becomes fuel for the world inside the rift. After a few bindings, the witch is spent, discarded like a worn-out tool. Their stronghold lies just beyond this door. I doubt you're the first successor to reach it. These doors exist all over the world. Vile passageways forced open by witches like me. Successor! You defeated Relmazog. Now the Black Dawn's... Cece Linsor? You're alive. How is this possible? Sansa? Is it really you, Sansa? I thought you were dead. If I had known you were alive all this time... It's okay, Sansa. You'll never know how much I was relieved to see you weren't around when I came to. How did you get away from the Black Dawn? Priestess of Lugh living in this town took me in. With her help, I was able to hide my identity and stay in the shadows. What happened to you? I was dragged into a pledge. I performed binding twice. The Serkan seemed really pleased, saying very few witches do multiple bindings. The Serkan? The enforcer of the Dawn. He's in charge of the pledge in the Black Dawn. She looks at Sansa and Successor. Now listen, this Successor wants to step through that door. As you know, this Successor carries a blessing stronger than most of their kind. The Serkan will offer them straight to Asat, which will lead to binding immediately. On the other side of this door, they don't need witches for binding. They just extract the blessing and toss the rest aside. This one's different. They've cut down countless demons to get here. Even among successors, this kind of strength is rare. They might be able to end this cursed cycle. Successor, you finally made it to this door. This is the Door of Dawn, which leads to the Black Dawn, rulers of the Rift World. Finding one of these hidden gates is rare enough. Reaching one is a trial even fewer survive. You've defeated Relmazog and made it here on your own. I believe you're able to handle what lies beyond. And this time, you may not have to face it alone. Endiz says you located another door to the Black Dawn. He could be waiting for you on the other side. I'll see Cece and Sora safely back to the village and then join you. Okay, so we'll have a few hands to help here. And I'm sure they're only going to appear after the fight's over to claim that they helped, probably. Oh no, there he is right there. Successor, I see you've made it here at last. What a long journey it's been. And just takes a moment to look around. Now that I'm seeing the truth behind the Black Dawn, I can't help but feel unsettled. Just look around you. For the stronghold of the Black Dawn who claim that the world is wrong, it resembles our own world far too much. He tilts his head slightly, eyes fixed on the distant Dawn Fortress. Apparently, this place stands on the power of Gurnane. Power of the Rune of Annihilation, to be precise. I always wondered how a single dragon could bring all this about. I finally found the answer about him and his power. But to speak of the Rune of Annihilation, we must begin with its siblings. The runes of creation, harmony, and purification. Doesn't that sound familiar? Right, the 3 blessings of successors. Powers of Lu, Harni, and Ashuran. The runes are the pillars that keep this world in balance. Light creates life, water lets it flow. Fire cleanses the soul in death, and earth embraces the flesh, returning it to the beginning. Annihilation is the completion of that cycle. If the 4 runes are siblings, then surely those who bear them must be as well. In other words, there must have been 4 dragon siblings, out of which only 3 became gods. One of the 4 runes is in this realm inside the rift, away from the real world. What do you suppose happened to this realm? A body without its soul cannot be fully annihilated, so it becomes a demon, coveting life and blessings. It is the job of successors to cleanse those remnants of imbalance. I used to think Gurnian created the demons, but that wasn't the case. It is death, life without a rune, that incomplete lingering yearning for life and blessings. That's what they are. And the Black Dawn is a group of those who found Gurnian here, in the realm within the rift. They use the witches to steal blessings from the world and keep Gurnian's power alive. Whatever their endgame is, we can't let them hold on to the Rune of Annihilation any longer. When I learned of this truth, I realized that it was my desire for revenge on Gurnian, whom I believed created the demons, that brought me here. And now, I feel a little disoriented knowing that he wasn't the real source of those demons. And as meets successor's eyes, his gaze doesn't waver, but it holds a clear question. Even so, we have to stop them. We can't let them continue corrupting innocent creatures and stealing blessings. Successor, you have my support. May your path lead to the end of the Black Dawn. Okay, a group of retired successors have gathered to fight. So we got Leones, Zarmok, Marcion, Sparnok. So they all take on the roles of the people from the caravan, I guess. You must be the one Andes was talking about. I'm Leones. I used to fight beside them. Now I take care of their weapons. Forwards to a time-worn sword, its handle darkened by years of use, catches the light. I'm the last one who remembers the wielder of that sword. I also know that he held it until the very end. That's how legends start. Not with powerful rune stones, but with the kind of will that refuses to let go. He looks back at the collection of weapons behind him, then turns his eyes to the successor. The gear you see behind me used to belong to my fallen comrades. I couldn't bring myself to wield them. They should rest. Stepped away from succession. I left the battlefield with the hope of joining them one day. He slowly lowers the sword onto his lap. Successors always survive and return to the fight. There's no one better suited to carry on a legacy. I can't give you the weapons of my fallen comrades, but I can show you what I have. These weapons have waited long enough for someone to take them up again. So we get some legendary options from him. Mostly things we already have. I don't remember Relentless Cycle, and I don't remember Retribution of the Iron Wall. But at a very minimum, I need you to buy this stuff from me, bud. Here, just take these things so that I have inventory space, please. Because I get the feeling we're going to be getting a lot of cool stuff here soon, and I need space for cool stuff. There you go, bud. Now, I am going to buy these legendaries. At least these legendary rings. Yeah, there we go. We didn't have Relentless Cycle. I recognize all the rest of these because we're literally wearing and carrying the rest of them. But I wasn't sure if I had the other one. Buy one more ruby key for the road. So let's see. And increase damage dealt to enemies by 19% of your armor. That's great for the Berserker, not so great here. And hitting with skills has a 7% chance to reduce all skill cooldowns by 1 second. That's not bad, but I don't know if that's good for us right now. Is we currently have charges 4 per second when combat resources are 50% or less. So basically our resources keep getting buffed back up. So that's actually not that important to us. And then killing an enemy or hitting a boss with a core skill returns combat resources spent. That's too useful to us, though the damage on it's terrible, I just realized. But I think we do replace our Surging Passion with the Relentless Cycle. We do lose the 8% all magic damage, which kind of sucks, but we gain some flat extra damage, and we gain some cooldown resetting potential here, which could be good. Deep navy eyes gaze upon successor. Are you that successor Andes was talking about? A pleasure. I'm Zarmok. Back in my prime, I made a name for myself by handling 12 artifacts at once. No Drakon knows artifacts better than I do, especially about their dangers. The power of artifacts isn't something you scoop up like sweets from a jar. More like reaching in when there's a snake waiting to strike. Most can't handle it, which is understandable. After all, you successors are always at war. I was the same. I tore into artifacts recklessly, grasping what I could find. I'm sure you've realized by now that a successor's resurrection comes at a cost. Your will dulls with each cycle of killing demons and facing death. Besides, we rely on the power of artifacts. Ever wonder how strong a will must be to be embedded in an object? And such strong will comes often with danger. If you're not careful, the artifact starts making choices for you. Zarmok lowers his eyes, slowly closing his hand. Eventually, it felt like I couldn't pull my hand out of the jar anymore. There were times when I wondered if my mind was being pulled inside it all along. Sometimes I'd lose myself in the middle of a battle, and when I finally came back to myself, it was too late. He slowly shakes his head, laying his hand on his knees, and slowly opens it. That's why I stopped being a successor. A will without life longs for a vessel, and I couldn't let something like that take over a successor's body that revives again and again. And has asked for my help, believing this would be our last chance to break the curse of succession. Maybe he dreams of a world with no demons and no successors. In any case, it felt like the right time, especially after what I found. Only after I abandoned succession and stopped seeing artifacts as combat tools did I finally see how they were meant to be used. He meets your gaze with a faint smile across his lips. You've capped yourself with 9 artifacts. That's a good number. I can help you bring out their true potential. Just trust me. These artifacts will scrape every last drop of power from their depths to answer you. You'll notice these have multiplied synergies now. They are much stronger. And these are all artifacts that I have. Considering I can upgrade both of these for the price that I could upgrade this one, we'll upgrade both of these. That gets us way more synergies. In fact, we actually have a maxed out synergy. Momentum's maxed out now. So now enemies that are weakened, dazed, or vulnerable have extra crit chance and extra critical damage dealt to them. And we deal 80% damage to anything that's weakened, dazed, or vulnerable. And since we apply all of the above very often, that's going to be real good for us. Hello, I'm Marcian. I once walked the path of the successor just like you. But in time, I found myself drawn not to the battles, but to what was left in their wake. To me, being a successor isn't about surviving. It's about leaving something meaningful behind and passing it on. So I remain here, to offer a breath of that continuity. Those faces carry names that never had a chance to blossom. Taking their likeness, I've shaped small fragments with a bit of knowledge and a little care into modest items. They're not much, but maybe they'll help you settle your thoughts before battle. If you ever need one, just let me know. I'll help however I can so the line of succession doesn't end with you. Revived Steps. Restore 100% life, increase attack and movement speed by 30% until 4 areas are cleared. The rhythm of the steps only those who have begun to walk again. A new pace granted to those who have passed death. It's treated as food, which is interesting. Oh yeah, by the way, your movement speed is dictated by how much you press the stick when you're using a controller, so that's why you see me just kind of like slow trotting along like this and just kind of sliding. I just think it adds to the moment a little bit when I'm just kind of if we restock, we can't afford anything here. So I guess let's just take the boost. Yeah, no, the music's really nice. A lot of the music in this game is a little samey, but it's all very good. Breathe easy, successor. No one here's rushing you. Skill is not what the body picks up. It's your struggle to survive. Desperation, hesitation, surrender, and will. Each of those moments left behind a voice, and you carry those voices now as if they were weapons. My job is to bring those voices into your memory. From your steps in the dirt, breath lost in the wind, and grit carved into your blood. You're not done learning your skills. Those voices are still alive, still speaking. I can help you hear them clearer and deeper. Will you trust me with them for a moment? Let those voices resound again in this world. I mean, I would, but I don't have any money left. And there goes another bot. I'm glad Seribot's back up and running again. Stopping to deal with these bots would have been very annoying. This is our full speed, by the way. Well, here we go. Let's put an end to this. I presume a final stage and then the boss, probably. Oh, that guy's a lot tougher. He took a few hits to get rid of. I have a feeling I don't want that orb to catch me. Whatever that orb that guy summons is, I don't think I want it touching me. Surprise. Open this chest while I'm at it. Oh, hey, another legendary. Apparently the chests around here just have legendaries in them. Okay. Oh, and lots of these guys have homing attacks. Just gotta keep that in mind. I've never been here before. This is new. I think this is legit the area from 1.0. I think this is the finale. Okay, when he opens up, I can hurt him. And he shoots lasers when he opens up, which is a little concerning. Not gonna lie, I'm simultaneously looking forward to and not looking forward to this area on Nightmare. I did hit potion, by the way, but when you're landing, there's a single frame where you can't actually do something, I think. And, yeah. I botched it at the end. I can't fucking believe it. Oh. If I hadn't dodged, we would have actually been okay because the missiles would have missed. But since I dodged, they looped back around and got me. Oh, and people are in ads too, so people are gonna be in for a real surprise when they come back from the ads. Oh, that's such a shame. That's such a shame. Because I don't really have it in me to sit here and do another full run to get back there, since the run does take a bit. Oh, that sucks. That sucks so much. We can make a few new artifacts, including some, I think, because of us picking up the extra thing. It was like we can make Lightning Striker now. Because I think I could make Lightning Striker before. I just missed it when we scrolled through before, or potentially. Okay, now since we've got a big collab tomorrow, I can't really go wild today. And I'll be honest, I woke up a little bit tired just from yesterday. Like the Headliners collab, I poured a lot of energy into. But we'll look around town a little bit and see what happens. You actually brought it? The smell, not the tang of metal, more like the warmth clinging to the final moments of an ending life. Bringing back Benny's words, a glow that was present without any wounds or blessings. It wasn't a flame, but the will of something. What he brought back is a trace of them, the ones who sought transcendence reduced to ash. So, welcome back from ads, everybody. Bad things happened on the way through that area. I got tagged by a homing attack enough times that we died. I actually failed the end of the run, unfortunately. This ember hasn't died. It's still burning. So this must be an ember of transcendence. It actually exists. The warmth of a human's will, not created by gods or runes. Not many can handle something like that. Doesn't make a weapon stronger. It wakes up the weapon's own will. Now, a successor might be able to pull it off, though. Well, shall we give it a try? This will be a new one for me, too. Now we can use the Ember of Transcendence on something. Just for example's sake. Unique Ember of Transcendence option, 15% chance of being added, vulnerable chance on hit, damage to enemies, maximum barrier multiplier, vulnerable damage, and overwhelming damage. Neat. We're not going to toy with that right now because I don't have anything that I'm not that attached to that I would want to do that. I don't know if it's reusable or not or anything. Doesn't look like there's anybody else that has anything to say, and I don't think I unlocked any other classes. Oh, we did unlock a class. So that's how we get the Revenant then. Okay. It must have been in defeating the boss else that we beat. The... what the fuck's his name? I already forgot his name. Rumazog. That's one. Because there was a regular Rumazog rune that we got. Yeah, this one, 13, I think is the one we just got. Also note that most of these drop on both Adventurer and Nightmare, so you could just push to Nightmare early, probably. Which is how we got such high-level gear, by the way, because I did do some Nightmare runs back when I was allowed to. Okay, you can't equip that. You can equip this. Man, now I'm tempted to do another run because we haven't experienced the Revenant. But I'm already worn out. God damn it. Oh, they're purely ranged. Interesting. It is. That's why I'm kind of torn, because, like, we've done a lot here today, and like I said before, I played 3 different games already today, too, counting this one. Yeah, I'm not gonna give in to temptation. Not gonna do it. Nope. Nope. Because if I give in to temptation, I'm going to be in shambles tomorrow for the collab, and that would be bad. This just means I'm going to come back to this again. And at the very least, I'm probably going to grind a bit to get Revenant gear, because I'm curious to see how that'll work out. But that is definitely not a doing this right now. I'm committing. I've placed the controller down. I'm not touching it anymore. This way I cannot be lured into it. It's just gonna take me a minute here to find a raid target, so just hang loose, stick with me for a minute here. Which, you heard me mention a big collab a couple times here, but it's nothing new, particularly. It's a slightly larger repo collab than usual, because I got more of a response than I expected this go around. Like, you would think I'd be used to getting a decently strong response on these by now, but every now and then I get surprised. Now, that said, it is a Saturday. Saturdays have been unlucky. There's every real chance where it's not going to be as large as I think anymore. As we did already have one end up having to bow out because of some stuff that came up. But I did immediately basically get somebody to replace that slot. So we still have, I think, like 7 or 8 people tomorrow, counting myself. So it's a lot. And then, of course, Monday we're going to continue Okage. But that's going to be the only day we aren't doing Next Fest content, almost certainly. Next week is Steam Next Fest, so I'm going to be going crazy as far as that goes. The good news about me keeping Monday for Okage is I will have an extra day of prep for Next Fest. I will sit there and filter through everything and have that all prepped better than the last couple Next Fests, hopefully. Is now and then the Next Fest did get a bit scuffed. They got a little messy. I'm gonna go ahead and kill audio for y'all for a second here so I can take a look and see where some of the people I want to raid are at. See what their situations look like. Oh, that's interesting. They are incorrectly labeled at the moment. They have the wrong game showing. Huh. That's also a lot, so we're not doing that right now. They probably were playing both and ended up swapping and Twitch did what it did to me today, where the category doesn't change over, probably. There's so many people playing Repo today, but we're gonna be doing that tomorrow, so let's leave that one off. Well, unless I go to that one, because that one's a special occasion, that's a little different. We did raid them relatively recently, I think. The joys of indecision and having too many choices in front of me, as always. We raided them recently, so that's not a thing. I'm not really that interested in the Summer Game Fest. What the hell is this? That's an ad. Thanks Twitch. Okay, that's what that is. That's not something I'm that into dropping people into right now. I don't even know who you are. I'm assuming I got you from somebody else, so we'll look into you later. Don't care about that. This is another layer of the awkwardness, by the way, today, is we got a ton of people playing Deltarune, which I have no attachment to. We got a ton of people playing Elden Ring Night Rain, which I also don't particularly care about. And then the rest of the people are playing Repo or basically a handful of assorted other options. But, like, it helps and hurts at the same time that so many people are doing the same handful of things. Because it does trim the list down, but it also leaves me with some good and not as good options. Unless maybe I just don't do a raid today. If my goal is to rest, maybe no raid today is not the worst idea. Yeah, you know what? As far as the social battery goes, we're gonna go ahead and not raid today so I can recharge better. Especially with us having a larger collab tomorrow, that's probably smarter. Let the battery have some more lifetime to build up to deal with that. Yeah, exactly, Zin. It be that way sometimes. So, thank you all for taking the time to be here. Like I said, we're not really gonna talk detailed schedule that much because genuinely we have no idea what the actual detail of the schedule coming up is because it's Next Fest. I don't have the list for it yet. Who knows what's gonna be there? But I think y'all know the kind of games you're gonna experience on that because, you know, I have a few types, so you know you're gonna see that. Obviously, be here tomorrow for Repo, who ideally, if you got other things going on, I understand. And it is going to probably be a bit rowdy tomorrow because of it being a larger collab, so bear that in mind. With all that said, thank you all so much for your time. I will see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody. Take care of yourselves.